So it looks to me, well, we've got it off. It came off quite easily. And it's going to go here. And it looks to me like it's the proximity sensor, I would say. Not focusing great, but could be the earpiece as well. But it's got a little tab on it, a little connector on it, so it's which goes on the motherboard, so it is important. So we've got that in place. Still, battery is the next one. It's got to come off. Okay, we got it off. The battery, and we basically did it by very carefully, sort of really carefully, just easing it up like this. Now you've got to be very careful when you've got metal against a battery, just hardly at all, just until it started moving, and then we got the card under it and pried the glue up. Interestingly, which I didn't realise, was that when we looked at the back of this thing, it was actually the battery we could see, because now there's a hole there. So we'll get the ready-made phone here, and now we can just plonk the battery in its correct place there, so we'll push it into place. So first things first, get the charging port in place with this side bit. See, remember there's a connector here, we need to connect that when we fit the motherboard, so it just slips in quite nicely there. Right, that's all tucked in. So next thing is to get the motherboard back in place and get the connectors connected, including this one, and then there's a couple more which we'll show you in a sec when they're connected. As you sort of drop it in, you've got to make sure that the little antenna is out, the blue one. These two clips here, and this one's the actual screen connector. So, and then we're going to put the cameras back on in a sec as well. And that charge a little bit. Right, so we get the 5 black screws back here, and then we'll get the tabs on. So the 5 screws are on, and now we're just going to fit the 2 cameras here on the left here. So in theory we can connect the battery and then we can see if it will boot now. Can't remember if there's any charge in the battery, but we'll try it. Working fine, and we've got all the screws in here, and we've put the cover on as well, 15 screws. So it's literally just a matter of adding the back cover on. You can buy for a £5 now. And just clipping that little tab that's hanging down here. And that's it. So thanks for watching. Bye. Okay, playing a bit of radio still. Now here's my screen that is ready for the Galaxy 8 Plus. It's got everything I think it needs. There's a connector for that goes on the actual main board. Vibrator, camera, and I've got to add actually the camera's here and here. So I've got to add the charging port, the main motherboards, the battery, which I've got to remove from this. So we're on it. Still having fun. So, first thing we're going to do then, we've already took the old glass screen off, which is here. We did damage it. There you go. So peeled it off. You heat up the edge with your heat gun. The antenna connector actually pokes through here, sort of upwards like that. You can see I've ripped the ribbon here. Once you've done that, the screen's no good. The LCD's killed. So this is the one that came off. Basically, the reason it broke was because my dog actually bit it. So that's the screen off. Then you take the back off. Again, I heated it up and pried really carefully. Now it's less likely to break because it's like a flippy plastic. Like I said, you can buy these really cheap anyway. And once you lift it off around the edge carefully, you've got to use almost like a stainless steel, like a sharp Stanley knife, that's what I'm on about. Carefully, without scratching it, and then you're using something like a spudger and several cards. You want a couple of cards like that, sort of prying them underneath until eventually, you know, you hold it up, and then when it's quite close still to the frame, you squeeze in, and you just, on this little connector here, you just unclip the sensor. Comes off easily. So that's almost like a sandwich. So now you're left with the main chassis, and now you've got the sort of cover panel for the motherboard, which is also like an antenna, and you've got charging port. It's 15 screws, 15 chrome screws, which come off easily. I'll put them into a little pot, and then there'll be 5 screws that hold down the actual motherboard, with the charging port section. I'll show you that in a sec. So all the screws are loose. I'm just sort of picking them out and putting them in my little pot at the moment. So once you've got the 15 screws off, then these parts just lift off really. Radio in the background, that's what you can hear. Ham radio. So yeah, I've got a couple of screws still here just to pull out, and then all this will come off. Nico here as well. Getting there. That's the back bit. The middle bit's off here, and then they're just going to take the front cover off. Okay, so we just lift this off. Comes off here. So now we're looking at the sort of motherboard area. It's in 2 pieces. It clips together about here, and we'll just carefully lift that off. We'll disconnect the battery now, because that's obviously, the sooner you get the battery off, the better. So we can just clip that up. So that's us safe, because we are going to have to heat this up to get the battery off, which I'm a bit worried about, but we're going to do it. So got a couple of tabs to remove. So there's one here. We've got the antenna here, a tab here, that tab, and this tab as well. And then we'll probably remove the camera just by clipping these up. You see the way it's working. Trying to do it one-handed. That's the one that's going to be a bit fiddlier. That is the actual. Looks to me like it's the 4G probably. You know, you've got, these are the cameras, front and back here. That's more speaker. There's a big camera there, I think. Fingerprint sensor, I don't know what all that is. Charging port. It's probably speaker as well. So yeah, let's get it on with it. So we've got this wire out here, and then the whole thing is sort of lifting like so. I don't think we've gotten anything on there. Just double check you haven't forgotten anything on that might be gripping, and then it will just lift out. Yeah, the thing we did forget was it's okay, but it's the SIM card holder, so always get that out as well, the SIM card holder. 5 black screws here, take them off to get the charging port off. So sort of carefully peeling this up. The bit I think is most dangerous for braking, hard to see, but it's just here. There's a little, try and focus. Basically there's a little tab behind here with a little thing here, trying to not sort of break that. Right, so we sort of carefully lifted it off, but all these sections, you know, these little bits here, they're all got some glue, and it sort of goes in like that. in and then down. Sort of you tuck it in. Don't drop it on the floor, of course. You sort of tuck it into these grooves. Next thing is we're going to heat the back of the battery. Not too much. We don't want to break the battery, and then we're going to try and pry it off with probably with a credit card. Now on my original phone, I've got this sort of chrome plate here. If you look at the one I'm swapping it to, that's actually missing. So I'm going to have to sort of do that as well.